Tourists spotted a distressed baby whale ensnared in fishing nets, struggling to break free. Its mother, helpless as well, could do nothing to assist. Determined to help, the tourists made a valiant attempt to rescue the baby whale, but the task proved to be incredibly challenging. This incident occurred in early summer 2024, during a seaside vacation where tourists had gathered to witness the majestic humpback whales. These magnificent creatures, reaching up to 62 feet in length and weighing up to 88,000 pounds, are truly a sight to behold. Humpback whales inhabit all oceans except the polar ice regions, migrating to local shores from April to June in search of food. Sadly, hundreds of these whales perish annually due to human activities, including entanglement in fishing nets. As a result, these beautiful animals are teetering on the brink of extinction and are listed in the Red Book. That day, one of the tourists suddenly screamed loudly and pointed to a small whale that looked very strange. The other tourists approached and gasped in horror. The front part of the huge marine mammal's body was tightly wrapped in pieces of fishing nets, which had left deep wounds on its body. Tourists, guides, and fishermen began to closely examine the whale to understand how they could help it. It soon became clear that the nets were tightly squeezing the whale's neck and mouth, preventing it from opening its mouth properly and making it difficult to eat. The marine creature was severely emaciated and unable to free itself from the nets that threatened its health and life. This was a young, not too big whale, probably a calf. As it grew, the nets would cut deeper into its body, eventually killing the calf. Concerned people immediately reported the whale's distress to environmentalists and local authorities. After a brief meeting, a large-scale rescue operation was organized. It involved the rescue service, volunteers, scientists, and environmentalists who had especially come to the coast from different cities, as local specialists alone couldn't help the suffering creature. Scientists and environmentalists with extensive experience in rescuing other marine mammals were to develop the operation plan. Activists and volunteers were ready to provide any possible assistance. Local residents, including sea captains, fishermen, and guides familiar with these waters, eagerly joined them. Once the entire team was assembled, the active search for the whale began. Environmentalists reported that the Tangled whale continued to move with its group, following its usual annual route. Using drones and boats, rescuers searched about 75 miles of the coastline all day, trying to find the Tangled calf. Meanwhile, volunteers walked along the shore to ensure the calf wasn't missed. However, thick fog, strong wind, and high waves greatly complicated the search. The search operation continued non-stop around the clock, as the polar day in the Arctic provided constant daylight. Only after several days was the whale finally found alive. It was time for the most difficult part of the operation, the direct release of the whale from the nets. The rescuers wanted to help the unfortunate creature so much that they even gave it a name, Stanislav. Approaching the marine animal was no easy task. Whales spend over 90% of their lives underwater, so it was necessary to catch the moment when the massive mammal surfaced to breathe. After the whale surfaced, the rescuers had only a few seconds to spot the whale, approach it, and cut the rope. There was a very high chance that the frightened calf would not let people free it despite their efforts, which could have ended very sadly for it. According to environmentalists, the calf would not have lived more than a month in such a case. Getting close to a frightened, suffering animal weighing tens of thousands of pounds without harming it was extremely difficult. Moreover, Stanislav's mother was constantly nearby, not understanding that the rescuers wanted to help and trying in every way to protect the calf, covering it with her powerful body from people and boats. The first attempt to free the whale, made the day after it was found, was unsuccessful. For 3 hours, rescuers tried to approach the whale and attach a special device with knives to the remnants of fishing nets to cut the ropes. The rescuers had to work only from the boat using special equipment, as being in the water near the whale group was extremely dangerous. However, due to strong sea waves, wind, and fog, they could not succeed. Moreover, Stanislav was afraid of people and tried to swim away from them as far as the nets around his body allowed. Curious tourists who approached too close in their boats also hindered the operation, as the calf was scared of them and immediately tried to dive deep. However, people were not going to give up so easily, and the following days, the rescuers made several more attempts to free the whale. In small boats, they tried to approach Stanislav from different sides, trying to get close to him for at least a few seconds. But each time, something got in the way. Either the weather conditions or the active resistance of the whale and its mother. If the nets had been on the whale's tail, it would have been much easier to free it by sneaking up from behind. Because the nets were around the whale's neck and mouth, people had to approach Stanislav from the front, which was very difficult. Other whales did not understand the people's intentions and shielded Stanislav with their huge bodies, greatly hindering the rescuers' work. Only on the 5th day of the lengthy rescue operation did luck finally smile upon the brave team. Tired but determined, rescuers began another attempt to free the whale early in the morning. After several hours of chasing and endless maneuvers around the calf, the boat finally managed to approach the whale's head from the side at the moment when Stanislav surfaced again to breathe. One of the rescuers managed to hook a special knife to the nets. With a sharp pole, he cut the nets around the whale's neck and mouth with a blade as sharp as a razor. Got it? Cut it. A triumphant shout was heard. Stanislav was finally free. According to the rescuers, the piece of fishing net that almost killed the calf was about 10 feet long. But the operation was not over yet. The rescuers had to make sure the whale was completely free of the remaining nets and ropes, so they followed the calf from a safe distance for several more hours. The whale kept jumping out of the water as if rejoicing in its newfound freedom. There were still marks on its body from the nets, but now without the ropes. The wounds should gradually heal. The most important thing was that these wounds were not too deep, and no infection should get into the whale's body. Extremely exhausted but finally free, Stanislav slowly swam towards his group, patiently waiting nearby. The news of the successful completion of the rescue operation quickly spread throughout the area. People who had been anxiously following Stanislav's fate all these days finally breathed a sigh of relief. On social media and in the press, the rescuers were called real heroes. This was a unique operation in the extremely difficult conditions of the Arctic, requiring the participation of dozens of people and long hours to free the distressed creature. The rescuers successfully applied the most modern technologies and methods agreed upon with the International Marine Environmental Organization. This invaluable experience will undoubtedly be useful to whale rescuers in the future. The rescue operation participants even proposed establishing a special whale protection center. This center would house a rapid response team, ready to assist marine mammals in distress promptly. Tragically, incidents like Stanislav's are a direct consequence of humanity's reckless treatment of nature. Each year, thousands of whales, dolphins, and other marine animals perish entangled in fishing nets and gear. Additionally, countless creatures suffer from ocean pollution with plastic and chemicals. To preserve these amazing animals for future generations, we must fundamentally change our approach to nature and ensure that fishing and other ocean activities are conducted in ways that are safe for animals. Cleaning up any trash is also essential. The rescue of Stanislav offers hope and inspiration, reminding us of our enormous responsibility to protect all living things on our planet. Every saved life, whether a giant whale or a tiny bird, represents a small victory of kindness over indifference and cruelty. Only by joining forces can we make our world a truly safe and hospitable home for all its inhabitants, both whales and people.